Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, June 23rd, 2025. We're here this afternoon for a work session with Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources. I'm Kristen Stevens, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. With me is my fellow Commissioner, Commissioner John Kafalis. Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally should be joining us in a moment, but we have a lot of people in the audience and at the table, so welcome everyone. And I will turn things over right now to Leslie Ellis, our Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources Director, to get us started this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. And we do have a relatively full room today with some staff from different departments who you don't see as frequently. So we've got two items that are relatively quick updates. We'd like to share some information on the new Beta Bay Trail, and Megan's here and she'll introduce Joel and the project, and then we'll move to Road and Bridge, where we're seeking direction from you on a topic, and then we have our regular updates after that. So I'll turn it over to Megan, and she can kick us off. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Leslie. Megan Flanagan with the Natural Resources Department, and Joel Schwab, our Trails Manager, and I are here today to share with you, as Leslie mentioned, the newest trail in our system, the Beta Bay Trail. And this trail is one that was identified in the 2017 Parks Master Plan and just completed. And you can see on the map it connects Inlet Bay and South Bay at Horsetooth Reservoir. So it really provides a key trail for a lot of the neighbors that live in the vicinity, as well as people at the swim beach and campground facilities at the reservoir. And with that, I'll turn over to Joel to give you all the good details.
Joel Schwab, Trail Supervisor. I'll go to the next slide here. As Megan mentioned, this was identified a while ago. We finally started working on it last summer. And all in all, this trail is 1.8 miles, and it kind of travels along the peninsula there on the south end of Horsetooth Reservoir. And it's a great trail. Provides amazing views along the reservoir. Kind of the goal of this trail is to provide better recreation access for people camping at South Bay and also Inlet Bay. To try to keep it as close to the reservoir where we could, to allow additional fishing access. I'll go on the next. We opened it May 23rd, so it's been open just over a month today. We designed this trail in-house with our trail crew, the Natural Resource Department. And as I mentioned earlier, it's designed along the shoreline kind of to help avoid fragmenting the landscape out there. We had additional funding from the Bureau of Reclamation to help build this trail. And also we had 4 weeks worth of grant from GOCO for the Larimer County Conservation Corps to help us. So they helped us last summer kind of kick off the project and start building. This trail is very challenging trail build. I like to call it quarries, cliffs, and steep side slopes is what we built through. And if you're ever out there, you'll see what I'm talking about. We're just moving rocks the whole time to create a 2-foot wide path. We had numerous other volunteer opportunities out there too to help us build it. Our most recent one was in May. We had the Volunteers for Outdoor Colorado come out and help us build the last half mile. And that's just one of the photos of the view of the trail coming into Inlet Bay. And that's the steep side slope I'm talking about. You don't want to, when we were laying that trail out, we were holding on to the shrubs and different things just to stay on our 2 feet. So, I think it's been open. We've had great reviews, input from it. A lot of people out on it. Very busy trail right now. So if you guys ever get a chance, go check it out.
Yeah, so this is just a brief update to celebrate a new trail and have a chance to thank Joel and his team. We didn't plan it very well because we brought him in on a nice cool day. We should have let him be out there today instead of in here, but Friday would have been a better day for him to be here. But we really just wanted to showcase the new trail and the work of the team and see if you had any questions or feedback or anything else from your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel and Megan and Leslie. Any questions? Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you. And Joel, thanks. Just wonderful work as usual. We're just very fortunate to have such an expert and master in design and work, and appreciate your work so much. I'm curious, a couple of questions. I actually have been out on it and tried it incognito, just wanted to see, because I was really excited to see when it opened. It seemed like there was really a mix, because people are curious what it is and what it looks like. When you see that kind of narrow spot, remind me, are dogs allowed on leash there? And how does that work when we get maybe people having multi-directional traffic?
Yeah, dogs are allowed on leash. The only user type that we're not allowing on that is horseback riding, just because of the steep cliff. But yeah, in general, everybody should yield to people on horses, but this doesn't allow horses. But everyone should yield to people hiking. So if you're mountain biking, trail running, you should yield to people hiking.
That's great. And I see VOC and others were helping with the construction of the trail along with your really amazing crew. Is this the same kind of VOC crew, Volunteers Outdoor Colorado, that helped us with the Nomad Trail that was so important? I know we all got to come out and help with that in the beginning. Is that the same kind of group? Because I know there's some that do it every year, because I volunteered with them like 8, 9, 10 years ago. Sometimes the same group. Just curious about that.
Yeah, it was the same group that helped us with the work on Nomad. Yeah.
Great. Well, well done. Thank you. It's just amazing, and I'm planning to go out when it's not so hot and try it again. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Cavallis, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, colleagues. A comment and a question. My comment is, I've already expressed my appreciation. It looks like a really wonderful trail. Thanks for all the hard work, Josh, and getting it all together. So I appreciate that. We appreciate that very much. My question is, it seems like the mountain side of the trail is rather steep slope, and so I'm curious what things have we done to minimize potential erosion? Because I imagine if we get a good downpour, a lot of that stuff will flow down.
Yeah, it is a steep side slope. So when we designed this trail, we designed it as sustainable grade, 4 to 6%. A couple areas we had to go a little bit steeper than that, but that would help it minimize erosion on it. Some of those steep side slopes is just constant maintenance, seeing how much material is coming down the hill. In time, vegetation will come back and stabilize that back slope. But it's a fresh new trail right now, and we're just kind of monitoring it and seeing how it does the next couple of years.
Thank you, and again, thanks for the good work.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Joel. It looks really cool. Were you done, Commissioner? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just thank you for the name. I think I correctly referred to you a moment ago. I apologize.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you, Joel, again for the work, and thank you for letting us know about the new trail. And folks, as Commissioner Shannon McNally said, we did help a little with the one trail. I have a newfound respect for that. I will probably never volunteer again. Not because I don't care to do work for the county, but because my back was severely inconvenienced. But it's good. It's hard work. It's good work. It's important, and it's great to have a new trail. And it's a beautiful picture. It's really nice to be able to be near the water. So thanks for introducing that to us. We really appreciate that. All right. Thank you. Looks like we can move on to our next item, which is silos at Strang Pit.
And Madam Chair, can I just add one more comment?
Please go ahead.
I just wanted to let our Dalen and Megan and Joel and some others from DNR know that some employees of the state came in and camped out at our Pinewood Reservoir and just they were texting me. It was really close to my house, as you know, and they had a fantastic experience and posted some amazing, beautiful pictures. And it was, they really had a lot of comments to say about their experience at our open spaces, and I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon, Todd. Welcome.
Todd Jurgens, the Road and Bridge Director. And today we really just wanted to give you an update on some work that we're planning to do at the Strang Pit. There are 2 old grain silos left from what was the original cabin and homestead on that property. It's work that we've been planning for a couple of years. Eileen Dornfest is going to go through a short presentation with you and let you know where we're at with that project currently, and then we're here to answer any questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Eileen.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Eileen Dornfest with the Road and Bridge Department. And as Todd mentioned, I'm here today to give you an update on the future of the strang silos, which we plan to remove later this year. So I'll just give you some background information on the silos and talk about some of the due diligence that we've been working on over the past 4 years in preparation for this work. And then hopefully be able to answer any questions that you have. So as a reminder, the Strang Pit is the county's source for aggregate materials for construction and maintenance of our non-paved roads in Larimer County. It's a 160-acre parcel that the county purchased back in 1973, and it's located in that southwest corner of Horsetooth Road and Strauss Cabin Road. And it was previously referred to as the Strang Farm, and when we purchased it, it had 2 homesteads on it and associated infrastructure. But over time, the homes became dilapidated. I believe there were fires. And in 2017, with approval from the previous board, we demolished those structures. So this shows the location of those silos, those grain silos, which are really the 2 remaining remnants of those previous farmsteads out there. And originally, these silos were located in the livestock area, so they had corrals and sheds and other infrastructure. But again, this is all that's left from those homesteads. Here's a closer picture of the silos. There's 2 identical silos. They were built sometime around the 1950s. We don't have the exact date of construction. But they're 40 feet tall, 14 feet in diameter, and they are basically constructed of interlocking concrete blocks, stacked blocks, and then held in place with steel hoops or rods that go around the perimeter. And even though these particular ones were constructed in the 1950s, it's still a very common type of construction today. So today, we just want to talk about what's planned for these structures and the reasons behind that. As you can see, this is that 160-acre parcel. The silos are located in this northeast corner of the parcel, which is a relatively undisturbed area. And the plan is, and has been, that we need to have flexibility for our future site operations to remove aggregate from that portion of the site. So they're in an area that we need access to, combined with the fact that unfortunately they appear to be very attractive for trespassing and vandalism, and people have built fires inside of them. And just an unfortunate occurrence. But our plan is to remove them so that we can continue to move forward with our operational plans for the site. But we acknowledge that there could be some sensitivity about removing structures like this. So we've done quite a bit of due diligence to ensure that there's no regulatory or environmental barriers that would prohibit us from removing the silos, that no mitigation would be needed as part of this work, or that they're not wanted by another county department for reuse in a different capacity. This slide shows the inquiries we've made or the actions that we've taken as part of that due diligence. So first, we hired an archaeological resources consulting firm to document the structures and the historical context of the structures. And that's really best practice when you're talking about removing a structure like this. But the bottom line from that effort is that essentially these are orphaned structures that were part of these farmsteads, but because they're now orphaned, they just don't have the historical significance that they would if they were part of the farmstead that was still standing. And that is really the thread that weaves through the rest of these inquiries that we looked into, the conclusions that we found are pretty much all along those same lines. So we checked in with the City of Fort Collins Historic Preservation Office to determine if they had any role in consultation if we were to remove these structures. And because it's outside of the city limits, they do not have any role. We talked to the State Historic Preservation Office about several things. And you might have heard of them referred to also as SHPO. So SHPO does not have any oversight in this matter. No consultation is needed by them for removal of these structures. We also asked them about whether the National Historic Preservation Act would apply, and it does not because there's no federal oversight for this. And then lastly, we asked them if these structures are currently listed on a historic register, either national or state, and they are not listed on any register.
And
We-
not eligible.
And we looked into the eligibility for listing them on a register or having them designated as a landmark. And again, because they're orphaned structures, they're just not eligible. And then lastly, we checked with the Department of Natural Resources here to find out if they had any interest in repurposing the structures or reusing them, and they did not. So that leaves us at our next steps that we have planned, which is that we would like to move forward with removing the structures, and our preference would be to keep this material out of the landfill and find an opportunity to recycle or reuse them as much as possible. So we have talked to an auction house who has had success finding buyers for structures like this, and they feel optimistic that they could find a buyer for us. And so ideally, a buyer would come and disassemble and remove the silos at their cost. And then the backup plan, if we can't find a buyer, is to hire a contractor to demolish and remove the structures. And the plan is to do that this year, sometime this year, hopefully by the end of the year. So that's really the plan, and yeah, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have or any feedback.
Thank you, Eileen. Appreciate that. Commissioner Cavallos?
Yeah, thank you for your due diligence. I suppose one fundamental question is how much does it cost to disassemble and remove the silos, especially if we are not able to find a buyer through the auction house?
I might have to have Todd answer that question.
I don't know that we have the answer to that. We haven't bid this yet, so if we were in a position to need to demo them, we'd put a bid out and ideally select the low bidder. If I had to hazard a guess, I think we're probably $20,000 per silo to bring them to the ground and haul them away. Again, ideally, we'd find a buyer that would come in at their cost and disassemble. I don't think that the county stands to make a grand financial windfall here. If we could get $1 and they came and took them down and repurposed them, that saves us the cost of having to demo them, and it keeps it out of the landfill and repurposes it.
Yeah, I appreciate the effort to repurpose the materials. I was asking that if indeed it comes down to the county having to do this work, where those funds would come from, but it sounds like it would come out of the Road and Bridge budget.
It would come out of our fund balance at Road and Bridge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Commissioner Shannon McNally?
Thank you. I was going to ask the same question, but then my second question you answered about what would we sell it for would be just to have them, take them away since it's such a large cost. My other question I had was, with those structures being there so long, I don't know, was there any wildlife, like birds nesting or any, raccoons or something nesting in there? And do we have to do any wildlife mitigation or removal, or especially with kind of this time of year with birds nesting? I'm just curious about that.
So what I could tell you is when we did have them looked at, there were no birds' nests. There was nothing that needed mitigated. That's been a few years, so that's a really good point. Maybe that's something that we ought to have looked at again before we move forward with any work, but it was a couple of years ago that we had that looked in, and there was no nesting.
Great. And I do appreciate your due diligence. I'm just asking, I have a bird that burrowed into one of our side of our house, and until the babies fly away, then we're going to let them fly away, and then we'll patch it up once they're done, because I said we're not moving the babies until they're ready.
Sure.
So I'm just curious about that. But I do appreciate this presentation and the diligence, and I learned something new today. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the due diligence, and thank you for really checking out the historical significance. I think that piece is really important. It's important to our community. I get it that it's still a common practice to build silos in this way, and that it's and that the fact that they're orphaned really gives them no sort of historical context in that area. So that makes sense to me. I have dealt with silos before in my job on city council. I know that silage can really destroy some of the concrete. Are they still pretty structurally intact, that we feel like we can sell them?
They appear to be very structurally intact, yes.
Okay. Well, good. I mean, I wish you all the best. Like you said, even if you can sell them for $1, I mean, somebody taking them away from us is certainly,
Yeah.
could save us, tens of thousands of dollars. So it sounds like it could be a good deal for somebody who wants them, and it could be a good deal for us. So I wish you all the best with that, and I'm certainly supportive of that move. But there again, thank you again for just, making sure that we were doing the right thing here, and we are. So
Thank you.
thank you. All right.
All right. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Rebecca Everett, Community Development Director, and I have just a couple community development related updates for you today. First, you have a full agenda for your land use hearing this afternoon, and I wanted to pass along a couple updates from Jenny Axmaker, our Planning Manager. So you have a packet of additional public comment that we've received on 2 of the items, the Mead short-term rental and the Jacobs Conservation Development. The Mead short-term rental is already on discussion. Staff will be recommending that we amend the agenda for this afternoon's hearing to move consent item number 3, the Jacobs Conservation Development, to become the second item on the discussion agenda. So that will leave the agenda with 5 items on consent and 2 items on discussion for this afternoon. The first being the short-term rental, the second being the conservation development. And staff will also note at the hearing that the Estes Valley Land Use Code updates were actually tabled to July 28th, not August 11th, which I believe is what the agenda currently says. So we've moved those code updates a couple weeks sooner, 1 hearing sooner, to try to accomplish those more quickly. Any questions on the hearing today?
Any questions? Go ahead, Commissioner Cavallis.
Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca. I noticed in the inbox email, there were 2 emails from your office regarding additional information. Are they
Yes,
included in this packet?
those are what is included in the packet. So those are the hard copy versions of those emails. Yes.
And my second question, and that is, in reading through the material and the comments regarding the Jacobs proposed conservation development, it seems like there's some misunderstanding of certain aspects of this, and will that be clarified in the presentation by staff?
Yes, staff will be prepared to speak to the public comments that have come up, and I know our attorneys will be present as well in case there's a question of whether something is relevant to the development application or not. And we will have, as usual, our other staff, health and engineering present in case there are questions for any of those reviewers as well.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for your good work, Rebecca.
Thank you. Commissioner Shadegg McNally, any questions?
I just a comment, I appreciate you mentioning you're gonna have this added on, because it was something I was wondering about. So I appreciate the diligence, and please thank Jenny as well for her diligence with this, and I'll look forward to this hearing today. Thanks.
Okay, great.
The only question, so we'll be removing it, so we'll have to make that, when I ask, does somebody want to remove something, one of the commissioners will say they want to remove that. That's how we'll go
Yes,
about
or,
that.
or staff
Or
can volunteer that they,
Staff could
they can pull,
voluntarily
yeah,
remove
either
it as well.
staff, a commissioner, or the member of the public can pull
Okay.
something onto the discussion agenda. So
Okay.
it could be one of you that requests to remove it, but staff is also prepared to
Oh, okay. Well, that's
request that
probably
it be
just as well for
removed.
staff to
Yeah.
do that. Thank
Okay.
you. Okay. Any other questions? That? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Ballpark figure, what is your estimate of duration of this 3 PM land use hearing?
I don't know that I can provide an estimate because I haven't been as closely involved with these items.
That's fair.
But Jenny may have an estimate for you by the time you get down there.
Thank you, that's fair, thank you.
All right, anything else?
I have one other item for you
Go ahead.
today. So, the Community Development Department does a monthly employee award. We call it our Superstar Award, and it recognizes above and beyond actions or projects, behaviors that are exhibited by staff on our team as a great way to recognize the work happening in our department. And we are able to do that recognition every month for someone on our team. Occasionally, there's something that occurs within the department that I think is worth sharing publicly as well. And so I wanted to highlight our Superstar recipient for the month of May 2025, and that's Jason Mossman. He's one of our electrical inspectors, and I'm just going to read the description of why he won this award and wanted to just share that with all of you and with anyone who may be watching. So, while Jason was performing his regular inspection duties one day, he witnessed an elderly woman fall in the street. He immediately stopped to help her and recognized that she had sustained injuries. He called 911 and remained with her, doing what he could to keep her comfortable until emergency services arrived. Once she was in good hands, Jason returned to his duties without ever mentioning the incident to anyone. It wasn't until her husband, Fred France, called that we became aware of what had occurred. He left a heartfelt voicemail expressing his deep gratitude and wanting to ensure Jason was commended for his actions. This act of kindness and responsibility speaks volumes about Jason's character. He didn't view his actions as anything extraordinary, but as simply doing the right thing. In his mind, this is the kind of response anyone should have. Jason's caring nature and integrity are defining traits of his work ethic and personal values. Jason's actions reflect the highest standards of performance and are a clear embodiment of Larimer County's guiding principles. His compassion, professionalism, and commitment to the community deserve recognition and appreciation.
That is wonderful. Well, please convey our thanks to Jason Mossman for that work. It just shows the high quality and character that we of our staff here at Larimer County, and thank you for sharing that. It's really important, and it's great to know that we work with such great people. And yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Those are all of my updates for today.
Well, I love that we ended on a positive note. So Leslie, you got to continue that train.
I don't have anything to top that, so I'll let you go. So, thank
You don't have anything.
No, I really
for
don't
your
have
report.
anything
Okay,
else.
well, wonderful.
And I know you need some time to prepare for the hearing, so.
Sure, wonderful. Well, that's all the business that we have then, and at 1:15 we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.